Hey, it's Chrissy from Up the Windy Lane. Welcome back to my kitchen. We're gonna see if I can do this today. I have two little helpers, one is asleep and one is not right now. But I did want to share with you, so we've got a little bit of sickness, a little bit of cold and stuff going around. So while I do have my fire cider already ready, I don't have any elderberry syrup. So today I'm gonna make a simple elderberry syrup, a little bit simpler than my other one that I usually make. And it's actually out of this free ebook right here, which you probably can't read because of the sun's glare, but it's the herbal support for cold and flu season. Now we're kind of in the middle of that, so I wanted to go ahead and make some of this. This doesn't last as long as this doesn't last as long as the fire cider, so making this on like whenever I need it is kind of handy. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's get started. I said this is gonna be interesting. All right, let's see how long it takes me to actually do this video. So this is a free ebook. I'm gonna link it below. You can go to the website at the Herbal Academy and you can get this free. I'll leave that link below. Let's get started. We just need like 4 or 5 ingredients. That's it. Number 2, so we need elderberries, of course. We need elderberries. So that's our first ingredient. These are my oldest ones. They're not super old, but they are my oldest ones. I have some newer ones, so I'm gonna use these first. I do have ginger root that I got out of my garden. So this is what I'm going to use. You can use some from the store. If you don't happen to have ginger root, you can use about 3/4 to 1 teaspoon of ground ginger in this recipe instead. And then whole cloves. That's what we're going to use. Of course, we'll be using water and it calls for honey. But today I'm going to be using maple syrup because we have that, and that way I can use it on anyone under the age of 1 year old, which I have grandbabies. So if you use honey, you can't use it for anyone under the age of 1. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use maple syrup and try it out and see how it goes. First step is pretty easy. All we do is put all of our herbs in the water and boil them, and they have to simmer for about 45 to 60 minutes. So I'm just going to get those on the stove, let those simmer, and do some other stuff while I'm waiting on that. Probably chase this little one around a little bit, and then after that we have to strain that out and let it cool to room temperature, because then we'll be adding the maple syrup and bottling it up. But we do want to make sure we keep an eye on it, so you can't just leave it on the stove, because you do want to end up with 2 to 3 cups of liquid. We start out with 6 cups of water. So once that gets to boiling and we simmer, it's really going to probably, it's more than likely going to, go down. So we don't want it to completely evaporate out. So we really got to keep an eye on it. So here are the ingredients assembled. I've got 6 cups of water. I just have a handful of cloves, so I just left those there, and a cup of elderberries and my grated ginger. I'm not worried about leaving the peel on. I know where mine comes from, and it's going to be discarded afterwards, so we're just going to do that. And we're going to put it in this pot and hope it all fits. I have a little helper wanting to participate here. Let's see if I can do this one-handed, because this ought to be interesting. Okay, so here's 6 cups of water. That'll work. It's not going to be too full. We got our cup of elderberries, our grated ginger. We'll definitely have to scrape the rest of that off. And our handful, which this has not been opened, so our handful of cloves. Now, it's going to be whatever you want. I have a handful, depending on how big your hands are. I guess it could be, so that's what I have. I don't know, that's probably a couple tablespoons, would be my guess. And we're just going to get that boiling. So there we have everything in the pot. Pay no attention to my dirty stove. So we're just going to go ahead and get this boiling, and then once it starts boiling, we will set it to simmer. It's going to simmer for 45 to 60 minutes until we have 2 to 3 cups of liquid, and then we're just going to let it set off the stove and let it cool down until we can strain it. This has been quite the adventure, but it has taken a little bit longer because I didn't have the stove turned up as high as what it should have been turned up. I've got like all kinds of stuff going on in the background, so I'm going to show you what it looks like now, and we're going to go ahead and set it off to the side, and now it has to cool. So if you remember what it looks like, I did pour it out into a measuring cup to kind of measure it and make sure, but I have about 3 cups of liquid. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and set it back here and just let it cool down completely before we strain it and add the maple syrup. So I did pour it down into a measuring cup and measure it, and the reason I stopped at right about 3 cups, is maybe a hair over, is because when I measured it has the herbs still in it. So I want the most. I want more. I want right at 3 cups instead of the 2. You could, you know, go ahead and boil it down, simmer it down a little bit more so you get 2 cups of liquid, be more concentrated. But I do want the 3 cups. I want it to last longer, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just turn it off, like put it back there, let it cool down, and then once I strain it, I'll probably have right between 2 and 3 cups, probably closer to 3, but it'll be really close. So I think we've cooled to room temp pretty good. So I've got this set up. We're just gonna strain this out and smash this down as best we can to get all the liquid out. So now that we have the maple syrup in here, I've got this nice liquidy concoction, and I'm gonna put it in one of my old apple cider jars that I've saved. I took the little, I'm not sure what that's called, strainer out, and I'm just gonna pour it in here. This is about the best way I found to do it right now. It's been an interesting day, to say the least. I'll try to get this done. What, buddy? Okay, so I have the other one up right now, and the other one is asleep. So it's been a fun day. All right, so this is done. I'm gonna label it, and I'm gonna put it in the fridge, mark on it how much we take. 2 teaspoons every 3 hours at the first sign of like a cold or infection or anything like that. So you wanna, as soon as you feel anything, you start taking it. That is an adult dosing based on about a 150-pound person, where I did put maple syrup in this so I can use it for children even under the age of 1. And so you would go by weight, and you would of course divide that and lessen that dosage. And so anyways, you can learn all about that at the Herbal Academy as well. I love their courses, and I'm gonna link that free ebook below so you can get all these good recipes and just some good information for free. It's always fun to get free stuff. So I'm gonna put this in the fridge. I did taste it, but I don't have real good taste and smell right now because of my nasal polyps, which kind of sucks. I can't, like, I'm just, yeah, it's no good. But anyways, I'm gonna put this in the fridge, and it will stay good for about 4 to 6 weeks. So we got quite a bit to use though. So don't be afraid to make this and use it. It's not gonna hurt you. So use it. If you feel a sniffle or a headache or whatever you think, you've been around somebody that's sick, here you go, elderberry syrup. And this one's super simple. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to be lovely lights today.